What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Armored Warfare, where today we are going to be taking a look at the first viewer replay to be submitted to my channel for Armored Warfare. Obviously, since patch 0.14 went live, I have invited you guys to start sending in your epic, awesome Armored Warfare replays, and I'll see what I can do about featuring on my channel for you guys. So today's replay is in the Challenger 1, the Tier 7 British main battle tank, and it is sent in by Wiser, who was also one of the people who actually won one of the Chieftain Mark 6 codes when I gave those away. Now, I hadn't quite intended to feature viewer replays quite so soon. Recording this now on Sunday evening. Played quite a lot of Armored Warfare last night on Saturday, and it was just horrible. It was just one of those, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it, just one of those days where you've just offended the matchmaker gods of the universe, not even just Armored Warfare, because I played some War Thunder before that, and just horrible team after horrible team after horrible team. Played some Armored Warfare. I think I played a total of 8 matches. I didn't win a single match. The first few were complete landslides every time. Later on, when I went down to the lower tiers to play, mess around with Zalo and that, I was coming top of my team every time, but it was still losses. So none of the matches I had last night were really worth showing you. And then I received the message from Wiser, who is sending in his replay of the Challenger. So let's go and have a look at that. We'll talk about the gameplay, and we'll talk a little bit about my thoughts so far with regards to the new replay system. So let me load it up and I will rejoin you guys in a few moments. Alright, so here we have the replay system. Look at that. We are on pipelines, and as I said, Wise Guy's in his Challenger 1. Now, unfortunately, there is no player view yet. So we're not going to see exactly what Wise Guy was looking at. We're not going to see when he zooms in. We're not going to see where he's aiming and that sort of thing. But this is their first run. So first things first, press O. Press O. There we go. And we get rid of that little thing. But otherwise, you've got to pretty much control it with your mouse. And you can look around and look at all the pretty things. You can also use W, A, S, and D to come back. Not quite as fast as the Challenger. To go free roam, spacebar goes up. I'm not sure what goes down. Haven't figured that out yet. Right clicking or left clicking will return you back to the player, and then you can obviously keep clicking to cycle through. Or you can hold control and cycle and go. So we're just going to go straight back to Wiser Guy. So someone on his team has told the enemy team that this team is lemming training, and someone on the enemy team says they're doing the same thing, which is a little bit annoying. Don't tell the enemy team what you are doing, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with it. But anyway, so truth be told, I'm a little bit disappointed that right now there is no player view. At least nothing that I can find out, nothing that I can click or anything to see what Wiser Guy is looking and how he's looking. But this is the first the first try, the first stab at it, and it's really quite good. And you can press F2 and we can get rid of the interface, and we can create lovely cinematic shots like this, and we could then obviously go free cam, and maybe that's what we'll just kind of mess around with. This is kind of how until at least they implement player view, this is kind of how I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to record these as I record the replay file, so I know exactly what I'm looking at and where. Someone's APS took out that missile, I guess. Look at that. But yeah, so got quite a few targets up front. XM1, Challenger 1, and manages to put a decent hit into the XM1. Got this Ariete as well. I mean, the teams, I'm guessing Wiser Guy must be on the North American server because the teams are quite small. 2 tier 8s on each team. Then a significant amount of tier 7s and 6s. On Wiser Guy's team, there is a Warrior and an Ariete. On the enemy team is an M1A1 and the M1128 MGS. So, in terms of main battle tanks, I think Wiser Guy his team has the better main battle tank. I think Ariete is better than M1, but then I think the M1128 is better than the Warrior. But anyway, so currently engaging this XM1. down to under 1,000 hit points remaining. And up there we can see the M113480 GM, the new premium tier 7 tank destroyer. I think they're classing it as a tank destroyer, not an AFV. Just with the ATGM system as its primary and only weapon, no gun here. And this poor XM1's got nothing he can really do with the exception of charging and getting around to the back. But obviously, doing that will expose him to the Ariete's guns, and Wiser Guy's not going to sit back and let him do that. So he really just didn't have any thing he could really do. Another Leopard 2 AV in front, taking the shot, 465 damage done. That guy can't quite make out which way he's facing, but then this Ariete, I guess he ammo racked him, doing 1400 damage with a single hit there and just erasing him off the map. Another Leopard 2 AV here, fortunately getting a little bit stuck on the rock. Let's go and say hello to this guy. And he's on pretty much full health, and here comes this MGS, that M1134 ATGM, and Maximus Max finishes him off, and I think Wiser Guy is going to smartly switch his target to the M1128 MGS. He doesn't have to fear the Leopard 2 AV's gun from the front, but that tier 8 tank destroyer, that can penetrate him from the front if he aims well, definitely from the side like he did. So he did actually take a hit. But things are kind of okay for his team, not the greatest though. They're down one tank. Enemies still got two challengers, the M1 and two Centauros remaining, the tier 6 Centauro and the tier 7, while Wiser Guy's team has got two challengers, the Ariete and the M1134. So could be better, but it could also be a lot worse, and they've really, they've still got a chance. And this Challenger and this Ariete are working together fantastically well, and they're going to continue doing that until the end of the match. So one enemy Challenger spotted in front of us. He's on pretty low health, potentially a one-shot kill. Wiser Guy takes a shot, but unfortunately it doesn't get a high enough roll and leaves the Challenger 1 on 62 hit points. And there we go, fires in another shot to finish him off. Maximus Max holding his fire there, probably because he's got 4 kills already. Doesn't really need to try and steal that one. B1 Centauro pops up. Max puts a shot in. Wiser Guy puts a shot in. He's down to 579 hit points. He could have actually taken advantage and put another shot into the side of, or put a shot into the side of Wiser Guy, but he doesn't there. They both fire again, and Maximus Max, having a slightly slower reload than Wiser Guy, manages to get the kill, and that's his 5th kill. Here comes an M1 Abrams, shot on the move unfortunately, and it obviously doesn't go quite where Wiser Guy was hoping. That time he's fully aimed in, puts a shot into the engine area, I think, and that shot presumably goes straight into the driver's viewport. Maximus Max finishes off again, 6th kill, and all that remains on the enemy team is now this Challenger 1 and that Centauro 120. So Challenger 1 down to 431 hit points. Wiser Guy instead puts a shot into the Centauro as he has a better chance of penetrating it. The Centauro's run away now and is up against the ATGM, who he kills, and then Maximus Max finishes off the Centauro, and that is the end of the battle. So let's head off to the results and see how he landed up doing. And in the end, he earned himself 8,310 reputation, 347,000, call it 500 credits, doing 6,500 damage, 5,000 spotting damage, getting 8 assists, and amazingly getting himself the gold medal and the recon award. So he actually came first place on his team despite that Ariete getting so many kills. So let's go and see at the team score, and as you can see, even though the Ariete got more kills, Wiser Guy actually did more damage, 6,500 damage versus 5,800. So these two tanks really worked fantastically well together. He got more spots, more assists, obviously not as many kills, and in the end finished off the match with base XP, base reputation of 4,752 versus the Ariete's 4,390, and these two were just in a league of their own. In third place is 2,400, so they did fantastically well for their team and really carried it to victory. On the enemy team, Centauro 120 came first place, base reputation of 1900, doing 3430 damage. Looks like the Challenger won. No, actually, one of the M1128 MGS actually did the most damage on 3681. So there were a few guys who did a decent amount of damage on the enemy team, but nothing like the two gentlemen on the top of Wiser Guy's team. So, Wiser Guy, thank you very much for sending in your replay. I really enjoyed watching it, and I really enjoyed fiddling around with this new replay system, and I look forward to doing it far more often when more of y'all start sending in your replays. But yeah, that about covers everything for this little video and this first look at the replay system and at the replay sent in by Wiser Guy. Once again, if you have an epic awesome replay that you'd like to submit and have a chance to be featured on my channel, please feel free to look in the description down below for the email address that you guys can send it to. Please just include both files for the replay, because there are two files, an ARP file and an XVM or something like that. Include both files. I assume you need both, as well as screenshots of the results. I just need the main results page and the team score. So send in those and you guys could be next. I can't promise anything, but I will do my best to feature as many replays as I can. But as I said, that is it from me. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing for more Armored Warfare, World of Warships, and a few other things that I throw into the mix from time to time. But that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.